Namaste. Since this whole coronavirus broke out and we've been staying at home, we have offered you guys Facebook Live videos. I've been doing some of these through YouTube and sharing them with you through our social media. And thus far we've given you some yin, some gentle, some restorative, a blissful flow yesterday. But I thought today, for those of you maybe needing to move a little more, if you haven't been getting outside, I encourage you to. It's just gorgeous outside with everything coming to life, with the season changing into spring. But through Ashtanga, if you're used to blissful flow, you may really enjoy this because it does have a vinyasa element to it. With the Ashtanga series, we typically go to the Ujjayi pranayama. That Ujjayi breath, where Ujjayi means victory, so the idea of this, having the name victorious breath, is to help us to gain mastery and control and victory over our minds and our bodies. So we use the body. It's a very physical practice. You know, we start off 8 to 10 sun salutations, we move into standing poses, then sitting postures, then inversions. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm feeling today and what I'm going to be sharing. It's not going to be the exact primary series or the exact sequencing. I may leave some things out, I may sprinkle some things in. But coming back to that breath, that particular breath is something that creates a rhythm or a cadence for you to be able to move with. And we often, when we're instructing this breath for beginners, is having them put a hand up in front of their face, as if you're going to clear off a mirror or your sunglasses or something of that nature, just to make that audible ha sound through the throat. Those muscles that are being used is something that I like to call the whispering muscles. For this Ujjayi breath, victorious breath, it's sometimes called oceanic breath or Darth Vader breath, but it does have a sound to it. And there may be times where you are so light with your breath that only you hear it. It doesn't have to fill up the whole room necessarily. But we'll practice that sitting, and just to allow some of that breath work to get us centered and to give you a little bit of practice with it before we move into the physical journey. If you need to just do the yogic breath, diaphragmatic breath, you're welcome to do that too. But if you sit up nice and tall and just focus on your posture, aligning your spine, begin to align your mind and your mental awareness to your breath and your body. Bring your hand in front of your mouth. Take a deep inhale in through your nose and exhale with that audible ha through your mouth. Now try that again with your eyes closed, keeping your lips closed. Sometimes it may even sound slightly like a soft snore when it begins. It may be a little raspy at first. It may be a little choppy, but then as your concentration builds and as you continue to explore that breath, it will eventually smooth out. Let's Go ahead and open the eyes, and you're probably not going to hear me breathing that way since I'm instructing, but go ahead and come up to stand. Stand at the top of your mat. We call this Samastitihi. Hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at your heart. Go ahead and set your personal intention for the practice. Maybe even thinking of who or what you'd like to dedicate your practice towards. Maybe the entire world and this pandemic that we're currently facing. On your next inhale, let's bring the arms up overhead to Urdhva Hastasana, and then exhale, fold into Uttanasana. On your next in-breath, come to Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, you're planting the hands, stepping to plank, and immediately dropping to your Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhale to Adho Mukha Svanasana. And here we hold for 5 breaths. Spread your fingers. Dial your hands slightly away from each other. Spiral through the arms, keeping the shoulders at a distance from the ears. Hug the abdomen in, pick up your hips. Press through the balls of the feet, lifting through the front of the ankles, through the top of the knees, rolling your thighs in, powering them back. On your next inhalation, step the feet to the top of the mat, lengthen out through the vertebrae, and exhale, humbly fold. Inhale, rising all the way to the top, palms turning to face each other, and exhale, Samastitihi. This is called a Surya Namaskara. Inhale, expand open. Exhale, close into self. Inhale, sprout up. Exhale, Chaturanga. That low push-up. Inhale, rise to up dog. Exhale, rock and roll back to down dog. Hold and breathe. Finding the balance of effort and ease, strength and flexibility, power and grace. Inhale, you can meditationally walk forward. You can take a giant step through to Ardha Uttanasana, and you can always float through with both feet. Once you bow out on the exhale, inhale, root to rise, and exhale, recenter. A third A. After your 5 breaths in down dog, bring it through, top of the mat, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale, bow out. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, reset. Another A. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up, lift. Exhale, drop it low. Inhale, create that flexibility in your back, and exhale to the inversion. 5 breaths here. Once you've completed your 5th, bring it on home to the top of the mat. Exhale, release down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring hands home to the heart. We're going to move into B, Surya Namaskar. We begin with Utkatasana, and exhale, tip forward over straight legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Into up dog. Out to down dog, but we don't hold this time. We inhale, right foot steps through. Back heel berries down, warrior one. Exhale, we roll back to Chaturanga. Into up. Out to down. Inhale, left foot steps through next. Virabhadrasana one. Exhale, move right back into the flow. Now, on the third down dog, we hold and we breathe. Into the top of the mat. Out, lower down, letting everything release towards the crown of the head. Inhale, Utkatasana chair. Exhale, Samastitihi. We continue. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and look forward. Exhale, Chaturanga. Into the back bend. Out to the forward fold. Inhale, warrior one, right foot leading. Exhale, back into the flow. After you return to down dog, left foot leads next. Take the next vinyasa. And then hold and breathe. Open up space at the back of the shoulders. Let the inversion help to create more space in your mind. Gaze back towards your feet or the space in between. And then inhale. Land at the top of the mat, however you want to arrive. And exhale, release. Inhale, Utkatasana, sometimes also called fierce pose. Exhale, Samastitihi. Another beat. Flow with your breath. If or when you feel the necessity for child's pose, remember it's always available. You don't have to wait for it to be instructed. Learn to trust your own inner guidance, your intuition. It will never steer you wrong. Inhale, plant the feet at the top. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, pick yourself back up. Exhale, Samastitihi. We're going to do one more beat. Same exact sequence. pause in that third downward facing dog. Keep infusing yourself with life force, what we call prana. Inhale. Plant the feet at the top of the mat, open the heart. Exhale, release. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastiti. We're gonna hop the feet apart. Shoulders roll back. Exhale, tip forward, hinge from that hip crease. Bring the weight out of the heels more into the toes. Wrap the first two fingers around each big toe, but then press the toes down into the fingers. Press your thumbs down into the toenails. Take the arms and wing them away from the legs. Slightly bow the head deeper in. This is one of the versions of Padangusthasana. And on your next inhale, straighten the arms, lift your head and heart. Exhale, flip the hands. Place them underneath the soles of the feet for Padahastasana, foot over hand pose, and then gently bow back in. Releasing the hands one at a time. Place them back around your hips or waist. Rise up to the top. Bring the feet, the palms together, and inhale, you're gonna step all the way back to the right. Separate your arms nice and wide, turn your right foot out, lengthen over the leg, windmill down to Trikonasana. There's different variations of triangle pose. Feel free to do your favorite. Traditionally, you're gazing up, but sometimes if you're feeling unstable or ungrounded, it's nice to gaze in that direction too. Next, in-breath, rise to the top. Right foot's gonna turn in, left foot's gonna turn out. Press back through the hips. You want the flexibility stemming from the hips, not the spine. You wanna keep the spine straight. The neck in line with the spine as best you can. Finding your drishti point, whether it's traditionally gazing up, where the energy is being directed, or down if you need to get more grounded. We typically hold 5 breaths. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, just relax your arms a moment. We're gonna pivot the right foot to turn to the edge of the mat. We're gonna offset the left foot, square off the hips. Come forward with your left hand, and then spiral to your right for the revolving triangle pose. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, turn the feet. Remember, foundation is the primary focus, and then we move it up the body, and when you're ready, strike the pose. Inhale, we're bringing it up. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Samastiti. Inhale, step to the right again. Right foot turns, just like it did earlier. We're gonna lunge that knee, drop low through the thigh, prop onto the leg, and carry the left arm overhead. Now you can also do other versions of side angle. I didn't bring any blocks in, but you're welcome to set your hand to a block. You're welcome to thread the top arm back. You're welcome to thread the bottom arm below. If you do that, tuck the right hip back under, lengthen out through the sides of the neck, the crown of the head, keep the left shoulder rolled open. When you're ready to release that bind, bring it on home, come to stand. Once you drive it up to stand, we're going to take it to the second side. So in Ashtanga, we typically start with the right and then move across to the left. Those of you that practice Yin or Ananda with me, we typically go left first, then right second. Explore your options, get creative, but notice how each transition affects the breath. Can you maintain that steady rhythm you started with, if possible? Inhale back to the top. Exhale, relax the arms. We're going to go into the revolving side angle. Honestly, I like to turn away from the back heel. Traditionally, the heel's on the floor. You can do it this way. One hand down, the other arm lifting up. You can cross that hand to the other side and extend the arm. You can also come up higher, belly shining up over the thigh, hands to prayer position at the heart. Exhale, unwind, plant the back foot, bring it up to stand. Take your time, discovering which variation you prefer in the now. Exhale, unwind. Rise up on your inhale. Symbolized on the exhale. Inhale, step to the right. Make sure the feet are facing the same way. Lift up through the navel and chest. Exhale, forward fold. We're going into Prasarita Padottanasana. Your hands descend in between the lines of feet, but shoulder distance apart. The triceps and outer deltoids are going to activate as you bend the arms back and roll them towards each other. Inhale, bring it up to the top. Shoulders roll back. Exhale, forward fold. This is the B series. We're not going to hold these as long. Inhale, rise up. Place the fingers, shoulders roll back. Exhale, tip forward. If you want to move into D, you can go there next. Hands to the hips, gently come up. Turn the left foot, step to the top of the mat. Symbolized. All right, we're going to try to take, I'm going to turn around briefly so you can see. We're trying to do reverse prayer hands here. You may have to bring the tips of the fingers together at the low back, swim them upstream, shoulders roll back, Cupid wings open, heel of the hands pressing together. If that's too much for you, you can always cross the arms, and when we go to the second side, you can crisscross the opposite way. So I want you to discover what you prefer. Step back with your right foot, pivot, pivot, turn, turn. Offset your left foot. Lean back just a moment. Anchor down in your back foot. And then slowly descend out over the right leg. Parsvottanasana. Exhale, let's turn. Remember, if you crossed your arms, just cross them the opposite way. Open up the front of the body. Anchor your back heel steadily to the floor. Gently roll out over the front thigh. Inhale, let's rise. Turn to the side, step up to the front. Samastiti. All right, we move into some balancing poses now. You don't have to necessarily stay on your mat if it's too cushy. Sometimes stepping off onto the wood floor actually feels a little bit better. We're gonna move into Padangusthasana A. Standing on the left leg, lifting the right knee. And you can do this as the modification, but you can also lace around the big toe and straighten the leg. Moving into B, and I lost my foot, so I'm just gonna hold the knee. Bringing it to center. I'm gonna lean down and move into C. To D. Try not to tuck the tailbone. Keep the right leg afloat. And release. Shake it out if you need to a little bit. I want to demonstrate from the wall too, because I often give this example as an alternative. We'll next stand on the right leg, and you'll see I'm just going to take my left foot to the wall. Even out the hips, lift the arms overhead since I'm not having to hold the toe. So this can be my version of Padangusthasana A. To move into Padangusthasana B, I just turn the standing leg, keep the foot to the wall. Now, if I'm going to use the wall for C, I'm just going to spin that standing foot back to face it. I'm going to re-straighten the left leg at the wall and elevate the arms, and then I can fold over this way. Now, if you're going to move into D at the wall, you can back up, take the hands to the hips, and you just have to peel the heel away from the wall and keep the ball of the foot and the toes still touching it. And release. Just different ways to do it. We're going to move into Vrikshasana, but I'm going to show you from half lotus. So standing on the left leg, picking up the right foot. Take the underside of the heel. Take the left hand to the top of the foot, bring it towards the upper thigh or the hip crease. The right arm can circle around behind the back, and you can latch onto the other arm. You're dropping the right knee. Tell my balance is unsteady, and that's okay. Remember, trees sway with the wind too. We're doing a variation of tree pose. Plant your right foot as you spread out the base of it. Uplift your left heel. When you're ready, find the foot. Anatomically, try to grab from the underside of the foot instead of the shin. Descend your left knee. Maybe wrap the left arm and latch the hand to the right. come back to the top of the mat. If you stepped off the mat, we're going to bend the knees. We're going to come into Utkatasana chair. We're going to hold 5 breaths. Om 1. Om 2. Om 3. Om 4. Om 5. Then bow out. Inhale halfway. Exhale, we're moving back to Chaturanga, that low push-up. Rising to the stilts of the arms on the inhale. Rolling over the toes on the exhale. Now we're going to come up to sit. You can crisscross the ankles and sit like this. And then you can straighten out the legs. Or you can slide on through to Dandasana. Walk the sits bones back, lift the arms overhead, and take Paschimottanasana. Inhale up. Exhale, hands behind the back. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to move into altar or reverse table. Press down through the soles of the feet and rise up. Exhale. Sink back to the floor, crisscross the ankles. Bring the hands around in front. You can take a full vinyasa if you wish. Or you can just land in downward facing dog. Now, if you want to try to jump through on the next one, bend the knees, and what you'll do is take the left leg through and let your right knee bend along the way. If that's scary to you, don't do it. Just come down. And if you feel really wonky, that you need something to prop up underneath that left side of your seat, you can use a blanket or a block. Lift the arms up as you create flexion in the left foot, and exhale, fold over. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, take the hands down. Bring that right foot around for Janu Sirsasana. You can do A, B, C, whatever strikes your fancy today. But anyway, open up the arms. Exhale, forward fold. I'm not going to be as alignment focused today. I feel like we just need to move and breathe. There's a lot on our minds already. Let's just move and breathe our way into a more blissful state. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, take the hands down. Bring the right knee up. Plant the right foot. Keep some space between the foot and the inner thigh, because that way we can reach through and create that hook or bind around the bent knee. The left arm's going to crisscross behind the back. Lengthen out through the spine, through the sternum, and then forward fold. Inhale, we're going to come up. We're going to unlatch that arm that's bound. We're going to grab the underside of the heel, left hand to the top of the foot. We're spinning the sole of the foot to face up towards the belly in half lotus or Padmasana. Now, if you take a little bit of a twist when you swish this right arm behind the back, you might be able to catch the foot. And even if you can't catch the foot, your hand may slide over across the sacrum or towards your waistline better. You can always use a towel, strap, or some sort of apparatus to bind the two together if it doesn't quite reach. The left arm's gonna lift, and the exhale is gonna take us back down. Now you can gaze forward, which was really what I should be doing. But I got in the habit a while of releasing the head down because there are certain muscles that travel from the backside of the skull down into the neck towards the shoulder, and if those muscles get super tense, it can possibly create migraine headaches. And I tend to hold a lot of tension in my neck, so sometimes bowing my head over feels better. Inhale, come halfway up, gaze up. Release, you can try to keep this foot trapped in that half lotus as you walk the left foot back. Now you're probably going to find yourself like this, but if you move a little bit more towards the right side of your seat, then that will help the right knee to descend, so the left arm can reach out in front, and then you can create your bind here. If that foot still didn't want to stay trapped, if it was too odd, foreign, felt too weird, or your body just wasn't wanting to comply, you can drop your foot down just behind that other ankle and still create the bind to create something similar with your pose. Now, wherever that foot is, whether it's on the ground or still in half lotus, you're going to inhale, try to keep the bind of your arms, but you're going to lift up and do this variation of Marityasana. And then unwind from that position. You can crisscross the ankles. You can step into plank, move through a vinyasa, or you can step back into downward facing dog. I'm going to take it easy because honestly, when I teach Ashtanga, I don't do the whole practice. I only do portions of it with them while I'm instructing. And we'll do that same sequence to the other side when you're ready. If you want to slide through, this time the right leg will move out and the left heel will be alongside the hip. Now, something I do want you to be aware of, when you're coming into this position, try not to allow that knee to spin off to the side, and try not to flip to the inside of the foot. Ideally, you want your thighs parallel and the toes pointed back behind you, like that. All right, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Lean to the right hip, foot to the inner thigh, reach the arms back up overhead. Exhale, Janu Shirshasana. Reach that arm through, create your bind. Keep that right leg active, head of the knee pointed up, toes lifting and spreading. Concentrate the eyes to help to build a more concentrated mind. Uttanasana. Left arm circles behind the back. If you do that little twist, you might be able to find that foot. Right arm reaches, and exhale, fold. Exhale, release that. You can lean back even to step the right foot back. And then drop into the left side of your seat. Remember, if that's too crazy, just drop the foot down and then move into the pose. But I'm going to try to keep mine in half lotus today. Make sure you gain length through your spine before you humbly fold. Moving into the other Marichyasana. Crisscross. Hands come forward. You can bounce back into your plank chaturanga, downward facing dog. And then we're going to come through for a little core work. So if you bend the knees, bring the feet through. You might be able to land on your sits bones. I didn't do a very good job just then. And I'm not editing because this is way out of my comfort zone anyway. I'm just taping and showing, and it's okay to show all the imperfections. Holding half boat, Navasana. If you want straight legs, feel free to go there. Crisscross, bump up. Second Navasana. Crisscross, bump up. Maybe you want a different variation for your final. If you want another vinyasa, take it, or take downward facing dog. We're not going to do all the arm balances, but if you want to hop the feet forward, either side of the mat, I'll give you time to do Bhujapindasana. If you do Bhujapindasana, you may want to even try dipping forward. You may want to move into Titabasana. For Titabasana, if you tip forward, let your feet land, and then let your hips land. You can take your hands underneath your knees. Flex the feet and slide out, Karmasana. Now, there's lots of other variations of Karmasana. You can choose your favorite. Karma was one of the avatars of Vishnu. When you come up, Vishnu is the preserver. Bring the soles of the feet together. Open up to Baddha Konasana and fold down. You want to stretch the arms out. Go a little deeper, you may. Start to rise up. We're going to take the fingers and lace around each big toe. Make sure there's some clear space back behind you. Straighten out through your legs. To Upavista Konasana, we're going to take the Suptu variation where we roll back. You can hold that longer, or you can simply roll right back up. Some people like to land with the hands still attached to the feet. I don't like the way that feels. So I usually let the feet go first. Your hands can stay stationed here at your hips. You can anchor down your thigh bones. You can anchor down your shin bones. You can hold the toes. Now some people like to bring the forearms down or sprawl out if they have additional flexibility. But I advise you again about hypermobility. You want to make sure that you're creating the structure through the legs and the structure with your muscles. So you're not just moving into a solid stretch. You want the blend of both. Both strength and stretch. So create that definition in your quads so that you are helping the assistance of the stretch in your hamstrings. Use the strength of your core to support the stretch that you're receiving in your low back. From Konasana, inhale, come up. Exhale, we're going to draw the legs back together. And once you draw the legs back together, I'm actually recovering from an injury in my neck, which is why I didn't hold that inversion very long before. If you want to pause the video and move into Halasana, shoulder stand, Ardha Padasana, Karna Padasana, that whole sequence, you can do that. I'm going to move right into fish because fish is something that is really good for my neck right now. So I'm going to give you time to do that. And if you want to skip that series and move with me into the fish pose, the fish pose would come up as a counter after you were getting a lot of that traction in your neck. So in the fish, if you move your hands up underneath your thighs so that the elbows can clip in close to the body and the shoulders can roll back, if you root down through your elbows and point your toes, you can open up your heart center and lean the head back. I have this bun that I'm going to rest on. I'm not putting too much weight in it though. If you are finishing your shoulder stand series, feel free to join me now in fish. Matsyasana. Remember, the weight is more in the foundation of the body through your seat, through your heels, through your forearms. Barely little weight on your head. Exhale, release. If you want to hug the knees in for Apanasana. If you would like Ananda Balasana, the happy baby pose, move into that. If you would like to take a moment to come to bridge, you can stay in bridge, or you can flip the hands over the shoulders and push up to wheel. Wheel is not fantastic today, but it'll do. You may want to counter after that. You may want to rock and roll forward and back. And then Trishasana 1. So the shoulder stand, what I did not demonstrate due to my neck, is called the Queen of Asanas. And headstand is called the King of Asanas. Trishasana 1 is typically what's practiced in the primary series. And usually at the wall, I tell people to measure off. So if you were having your mat all the way at a wall, imagine the end of the sticky mat to the wall. Your forearms will come down so that the tip of the longest finger touches the wall. And then if you wrap your hands around your elbows, or can comfortably wrap your hands around the elbows, you know you're in a good alignment with your forearms and you can interlace your hands. I suggest taking rings off because it can be a little bothersome. Both pinkies on the floor, and then you puff up through your upper back. Now if you're not comfortable going into headstand, if you just simply crawl your knees forward, open out your thumbs to descend your head down, you can just practice pressing through the arms and puffing up through the upper back. And then exhale, releasing back down, but without releasing all the work. If you feel pretty good on your head, but maybe not going all the way up, you may want to tuck the toes and just try walking the feet in just to feel what it's like to begin stacking the vertebrae and the hips over the shoulders. If this comes easy, you might be able to curl up with your knees bent. You might be able to lift one leg and then float the other alongside it. You might be able to pike them up together like I demonstrated. Stay up as long as you'd like. I'm coming down. Once you come down, take child's pose. And breathe. Inhale, come up. And we're going to move. If you can sit comfortably cross-legged style, do that. If you can do Padmasana, bring your right foot to your upper left thigh. Scoop down, pick up your left foot, place it onto your upper right thigh, and then you can flex the feet to kind of lock them into place. I'm just going to bring the hands around to reverse namaste behind the back, reverse prayer hands, and then I'm going to fold over. For a little Shavasana, some relaxation. So take your time, settling in, getting comfortable. I want you to bring your awareness all the way down into your feet. Relaxing all 10 toes. Relaxing the arches and the ankles of the feet. And then imagine with your next in-breath that relaxation response is beginning to roll up through the legs. Inner and out, top and behind. Once you've relaxed your shins, your calves, your knees, your thighs, just take a moment and settle your awareness down into your seat. Soften your hips and your buttocks and the pelvic floor. Bring that softness and relaxation now up beyond the lower body into the low belly and low back. Move it up to the upper part of the belly, over the navel. Begin to follow your breath as it ripples up and down between the belly and your chest. Same ripple effect moving and cascading up and down alongside your spine. And allow that internal focus to help to continue to relax the rest of your back. Nestle the shoulders to the floor. Relax down through the arms, turning the palms open. Relax all 10 fingers and notice the more you let go mentally and physically, the fingers start to naturally curl in. Relax your neck, reminding your body it doesn't have to hold the head up. So release the weight of the head comfortably to your mat. And maybe even swallow to relax and to soften your throat. That you've swallowed, check in with your mouth. Can you soften both internally and externally around your mouth? Can you soften your cheeks? The flesh surrounding and set in between your eyes. Can you relax the furrow of the brow and the scalp upon your head?
turn in and up towards the mind's eye. Remembering, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. Inhale, stretch the arms overhead, point out through your toes. Exhale, hug the knees in. Feel free to sway side to side, rolling to the right. Coming up to take a seat. Let's chant Om together. Take a deep breath in, sweep the arms up overhead. Om it down as you breathe out. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let there be peace, peace, everlasting peace. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, and I can't wait till we can practice in person again.